I wish to complain about this parrot what I purchased not a half hour ago from this very boutique.
Oh, yes, the Norwegian blue. What's wrong with it?
I'll tell you what's wrong with it, my lad. He's dead. That's what's wrong with it.
No, he's resting.
Look, matey, I know a dead parrot when I see one, and I'm looking at one right now.
No, he's not dead. He's resting. Remarkable birds, the Norwegian blue. Beautiful plumage.
The plumage don't enter into it. It's stone dead.
No. He's resting.
All right, then. If he's resting, I'll wake him out. Hello, Mr. Pooley Parrot. I've got a lovely fresh cuttlefish for you.
There, he moved.
No, he didn't. That was you hitting the cage.
I never.
Yes, you did.
I never did anything.
Hello, Pooley. Testing. This is your 9 o'clock alarm call.
Are you ready?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. It's time for As the Buckle Turns Debate Club, where we talk about crazy stuff.
Who are you?
I'm Adam.
I'm Tim.
And who are you?
I said I'm Tim.
You did?
Yes, I did.
Oh.
Hey, so Adam, before we get into the debate club and everything, I think I know the problem why we don't get listeners here.
Dead parrots?
No. No.
Okay.
And by the way, he's not dead. He's resting. Anyway.
I know a dead parrot when I see one, okay?
He's resting. Anyway.
Yes.
I think it might have to do something with the fact that our cold openers have nothing to do with what we're actually talking about.
But that's the wonderful thing about our show, is that our cold openers have nothing to do with the rest of the show.
But I think that's the reason why we're not... It was supposed to go like, no, I don't think that's the reason why.
But it is the reason why, and I don't care.
I know.
We don't care we don't get paid.
If we really wanted to make this grow, take the time,
we'll take it seriously.
Well, no, we'd probably still do what we did. We would just do a little bit better job of it, but we'd put it on its own channel.
Wait, we wouldn't come up with the cold opener 5 seconds before we actually record the cold opener?
No, we probably would, but we'd try to keep it on topic.
Oh,
probably.
All right.
But I mean, we'd also put this on its own channel.
Exactly. Which is just not happening right now.
No,
you get a wrestling podcast on a gaming channel. Remember that,
because there is other wrestling content on this channel.
Exactly.
Good and bad. Fancy booking.
Bad.
Awesome. Nua. Fucking
Great.
sucks. Anyway, so welcome to Debate Club. Nothing really news broke this week. Other than the fact that AEW is kind of going back to touring in July, but
yes. July 7th, 14th, and 21st are the first 3 shows that we definitely know about right now.
So
Miami, Austin, and then Dallas.
Yeah, so it's not, I mean, yeah, we could talk about that and whether they should or not, but...
You know what?
I mean, I'm glad that I want them
if local governments allow it, then so be it.
I'm not blaming them for taking advantage of local governments. I'm just saying the answer is should they? But
we'll get back to that topic another time on another show. Well, because we'll have to compare it to WWE and other promotions.
I mean, not just that, but it's honestly, it's so far down the line, it's not really, I don't really care about it. And nothing else really broke. So we decided...
Other than Ricky Stark's neck.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry, man.
Get better.
Clearly, it's not it's not an Austin level break.
Yeah. Luckily, you don't have to have surgery, which is awesome. So, but nothing else really broke this week. So, we decided we're gonna do Debate Club for this episode, and we're gonna do Debate Club for another one later in the week. Yes, Adam, it's still called Debate Club.
Screw you, man. Screw you on that one.
One time. And that's all it took.
I did it once.
Yep. And by the way, I did that completely on accident. I was actually trying
The first time you did.
Well, yeah.
Third time.
The first few times I did it on accident. I'm like, I'm saying the Blake Club. I'm leaning into the skid.
All right. Well, first of all,
we gotta do ratings.
We gotta do ratings for all 4 major shows right now in the U.S. Sorry, Impact, you still don't rate.
Well, you can get the ratings, but it's still not.
You're a blip compared to everyone else. I'm sorry.
When you get onto another like actual somewhat semi-major network again,
Yes.
we can add you to the list. But so starting with that smoke is getting me over here. Yeah.
That one hurt.
Adam's getting over a cold, people. It's in no way of him actually putting anything that would make him cough into his body.
Not at all.
Anything
I
way,
would
shape,
never
or
do
form.
anything like that. Nope. I need a drink. Hold on.
So we'll start with SmackDown. Because, you know, that's the end of the week, but we record before it, so might as well.
As always, we record on Thursday.
Generally.
Yes. So, let's go ahead.
Wow. That was a good one.
That one hurt. That one actually hurt. All right. Let's go ahead and jump back to SmackDown last Friday, where they were doing the Throwback Show.
With that horrible fist CGI.
With nothing in the show that's actually throwback.
They did some throwbacks to some like old segments and stuff, but that's about it.
But it's just, it wasn't even true nostalgia. It was
No.
like last minute thrown together nostalgia.
They were talking about how they didn't even know what that was going to be. Basically, Fox wanted it, and people tuned into because they thought they were probably going to get Legends.
Well, for Fox Sports anyways, it was a tie-in to the NASCAR races over the weekend, which were using throwback, what's the best way I can, throwback skins for the cars.
Okay.
Yeah, like the paint decals and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Anyway, SmackDown got a 2.82. Sorry, 2.282.
I was going to say that was
Almost a 3, damn.
Yeah, no way. Legends Nights don't even get that, so.
No. But it's a very good number for
Yes.
them. It's one of their best numbers they've had in a long time.
Oh, by the way, there's one thing I got to jump in here and just
Yes.
congratulate Ric Flair on getting fully vaccinated.
Congratulations,
Because
Rick.
apparently Wrestle Talk showed the footage of him getting his fully vaccination. Good for you, Rick. Glad to see it.
Yeah. Get vaccinated.
Okay, anyway, back on to the ratings.
So then we skip over the weekend and we're on to Raw,
Oh, God.
which honestly, Raw barely dropped.
So maintained basically what the rating was at.
Last week they had a 1.872. This week it was a 1.817.
Okay, so they were right around the 1.8.
Yeah, and they're holding very well. And honestly, Raw, your Monday Night Raw, you should be in the mid twos.
Yeah, you should be. But it's the worst one of the two main rosters.
The weird part is, ever since the brand split, since they started the brand split, SmackDown has always been the better show. Which is also the show that Vince goes, they're the B show, I don't need to be there for it.
But even now they're talking about how SmackDown's the A show because it's on Fox, but Vince still focuses on Raw.
NBC brings in more money for them.
Barely.
Remember the purchase of the rental of the library of the network for Peacock? NBC has thrown a lot more money.
True, but he was doing this even before they did that.
I honestly feel that like there is some weird deal with NBC Universal that no one is willing to talk about because Vince has oddly enough bent over backwards for them more than any other network they've ever been on.
I know. And I just started to watch the network again because it comes with Xfinity.
Those of you who are Comcast Xfinity customers, you've got the network.
Yeah, you get the $4.99 premium version.
Yeah.
So you still get commercials in it,
Whatever.
but you're not paying anything extra. It's part of your package.
If you're a YouTube watcher, much like myself, you get through commercials. By the way, if you are watching on YouTube and a commercial does come up and it's not a stupid long thing, watch it. The people who receive, the people who make the content make money off from those commercials.
So you're saying we get money off of those commercials?
We don't-
I want my money.
We don't have any money.
I know. We should really start charging AEW because they took multiple things we said last week and made them official last night.
Look,
Anyway.
Look, once again, I have odd luck.
Stop. You need to scan the office for more microphones.
I've scanned many, many times.
Well,
and every time, no other microphones. Just the 3 that we have here. Which means that they're listening to the show. They are the one other viewer.
Found one.
Shit. Well, it's luckily not hooked up to anything.
So,
found another one.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's 5 mics in here.
There's 2, and they're not hooked up. But
2 of them aren't hooked.
Either they're listening to the show, or they just found a way to... You know what they're doing?
What?
They know we record on Thursday, so they come in and while you're at work, they put the mics in, and when you have to work tomorrow, they take them out.
Because I do the scans on Saturdays.
There you go. See? You gotta take tomorrow off and scan.
I'm gonna have to. I'm sorry, boss. I mean, you're gonna hear this a day late. I'm gonna be out of work on Friday. Oh. Anyway.
So NXT.
NXT did not fall that bad. They've dropped to 697,000.
Which is around what they were doing during the ratings war.
Yes.
Which is not good for being on their own night.
They should have had a further bump. Like, I was thinking the 7 to 8 range should be their home because of this.
I think it had to deal with the fact that they had the Cruiserweight Championship match at the main event, which you should have tuned into.
Wonderful match.
You had Kushida versus Esteban in there, who's the former Cruiserweight champion, in a 2 out of 3 falls matchup.
Okay.
And from what I've been told, this tore the house down. And if they keep using Kushida this way and just let him wrestle, then he'll get over. But it's the Cruiserweight Championship. No one cares about it.
Honestly, I feel that it really reached its peak with way back when Mysterio was holding it. When
he didn't hold it.
Oh no, when he fought against
you're talking about
Matt Hardy.
You're talking about back when he first came into the company.
Yeah. And no, he didn't.
He did hold it. He didn't hold the current iteration of the Cruiserweight Championship.
Do they consider it 2 completely separate belts?
They do.
For crying out loud.
It's a brand new Cruiserweight Championship.
That's just crap. Nope, that's crap. It should not be that way. It should be the carryover, much the same way that the WWE belt is actually now also incorporates the history of the WCW belt.
No, it doesn't actually.
No?
No. The Universal Championship does not incorporate the WCW.
No, not the Universal, the WWE
you mean the
Championship belt.
It does not incorporate the World Heavyweight Championship, WCW.
I thought they folded it in.
They folded it in, but the history does not go with it. That history is for the World Title Championship.
God.
And technically, if you look up on YouTube, the World Heavyweight Championship for WWE does not continue the legacy of WCW. It actually starts with Triple H.
Oh, for crying out loud.
Now, I know I've seen it that way before, but I've also seen it was continued it. So it really depends on what's on there. You'd have to probably go to actually WWE.com to see the official acknowledgement. Because they do a very good job of keeping track of what the lineage, what's lineage and what.
I know that the lineage does have a break regarding the WCW Heavyweight Championship,
and
where they break away from the NWA.
Yes.
So I understand that one because the NWA is like, no, it's our belt.
Yeah.
You have a show. This is our belt.
I think they may have actually. No, I actually think they continued to that.
I know for a while WCW still recognized the lineage, but I think when the WWE bought it, that's where it breaks.
I don't think they did. I think they made a distinction between the two.
Oh no, because they do consider that Ric Flair has 16.
Yeah. Well, they recognize it because the WCW and NWA were so linked together at that point. It's almost impossible to separate.
Oh no,
them.
I know.
So, but yeah, it is what it is. Hopefully they'll continue. This will help elevate that belt if they're going to do a better job.
Kushida is a great is a great choice for that belt.
Yeah. But it'll just be interesting to see. But I could see that being the main event. People just going, eh.
Yeah.
When you could have done Mercedes Martinez versus Raquel Gonzalez for the NXT Women's Championship as a main event.
And put the, no offense to the Cruiserweight Championship, earlier in the show.
Yeah, but to help build that up, but
Yeah.
it is what it is. I will say this, NXT, you're fucking blowing it again.
Again?
They released a photo where Raquel went to the locker room where Martina Mendez was being checked on, and she got in her face and said respect, and then Dakota Kai's behind her, threw a fit of like basically doing that. No, Raquel is supposed to be the heel. Dakota Kai is supposed to break away from her eventually and become a babyface again to win the NXT Women's Championship. You're fucking up.
Again. Writers don't know who the bad guys are anymore.
Yeah. Now, if you're gonna if Dakota Kai will take the belt off her, so she can then drop it to not Nixon Newell. I can't remember her actual Tegan Nox. When she returns, then I'm okay with that.
All right.
But I would prefer to see Dakota Kai win it and just not. Anyway, okay, so AEW.
Let's see. Last week they had 1.09. It was a special event show, Blood and Guts.
So they probably dropped down to about 800 again, probably.
No, 936 this week.
About 100,000.
Yeah.
Not too bad, actually, for such a high rating last week and then still being in the top in the 900s. Okay, I can see that.
So we are seeing, a kind of a pattern of where their audience is going to be. And right now it seems to be the 9 to 1 million range.
I think it's more like high 8 to 1 million range because it's going to be, I think we'll start to see them hover more in that 900 range.
Yep.
Over the next few months, but it'll go from the million to in the 800s here and there. I definitely think we'll probably get a high rating for before Double or Nothing, and definitely probably break 1 million after Double or Nothing.
Oh, I certainly hope so.
Especially
with Orange Cassidy winning the championship.
He's not winning
and
the championship.
walking out a couple of days. I almost said the next night. Walking out a couple of days later as AEW champion.
No, he's just gonna get his ass knocked out again, and then they have to call an audible.
And they just put the belt on him. Like Kenny just literally takes the belt off and puts it on top of him. And they're like, see, I put the belt on him. And then pins him for it.
Yeah.
Okay. Before we actually get into the topic today.
Which is, we're talking about Miro.
Yes. I have to say that both Kenny, honestly, the current group of the Elite.
Yep.
Kenny, the Young Bucks, the Good Brothers.
Yep.
Nakazawa. Don Callis.
Yeah.
Amazing troll heel work.
Yeah, they are.
Because the amount of people that are just pissed off at them on the internet is amazing. And I'm just looking at it going, wrestling's real to you, huh?
See, here's the thing. Reason why I think the Young Bucks have gone back to their old personas when they broke out is simply because they're like, we're already getting Cornette and his cronies and WWE loyalists are looking...
And the idiot fans. Like, honestly, there are idiot fans.
Oh, of course they are.
We all know who... Like, we all have that one friend that buys into it just too much.
Yeah. You.
What are you talking about?
Let's be honest. You buy into it too much. So do I.
But I also see it for what it is.
Well, of course we do, but we still buy into it.
It's theater.
But we still buy into parts of it way too much than we should have. But anyway, I think they looked at it like, look, we're getting that bashing.
We're getting heat.
Not heat. We're getting that bashing that we're terrible. This is not pro wrestling. From all these people. Like back when we were doing other stuff, and we had a persona that can just like, well, you don't like that? What is going to do it more?
We're just going to, and yeah, what they're getting bashed for now is the fact that they have money.
Yep.
That they're flaunting their money. So what they do, every week on BTE and before they go out, they make sure that their special edition Air Jordans are featured.
Yeah, so I mean, like, basically they're just taking it from being when they were poor,
Yeah.
to now they're
and now
rich.
they're just like, we're rich.
Yeah.
Screw you guys.
Yeah.
Like you want to say that we're untouchable, that we're the worst. We're going to keep winning.
So they're just taking that same persona, which some people would say they're going back to their old gimmick.
In a way.
And they are, but it is new because they're adding on to where they are now. Now, if they went back to the same way they were doing it, exactly the same way,
It wouldn't work.
It'd just be the same old shit.
Yeah.
They're taking those personalities, but they're in a new situation and letting them fit to the new situation.
I mean, yeah, and it's their work on Twitter is great.
Oh, there was a work on Twitter was great back when they found this.
Oh, now they've been updating their bio and their profile pics and stuff like that, like every week or every couple of days, and they'll just post new bio, and you're like, okay, well, what'd they post this time? And you go, but if you miss a bio, you're never seeing it again.
So, by the way, if you haven't read the Young Bucks autobiography, go get a listen to it. No, we're not sponsored by it.
No.
I've gone through it.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It's on my list.
And when you get to the part when they actually realize, like, the stuff like the whole the handshake debacle with RVD and Booker T came out and all that stuff.
Back when when people thought they were cocky kids as Generation Me, and I'm going, really? Okay.
And so when you go back and hear that, and they just went with it, they just said they started acting that way on Twitter and getting more heat because it kept people talking about them. They did it, and they're just doing that, but they're doing it to the people who buy into the Cornette, the WWE loyal crap.
Exactly.
And it's just pissing them off because, like, if we piss our actual fans off, like they want to boo us, awesome.
Even better.
Because we're getting them too, but at the same time, they're also kind of winking a nod to our fans, like, you know what we're doing.
And I love the fact that their entire gimmick as the Young Bucks, which, by the way...
Oh, by the way, we're switching our topic. It's this now.
It's okay, cool.
We're on
Nero, I'm sorry. We're talking about the Young Bucks. And
that'll be
Elite.
the other one. We'll move the women one to another time.
Some other time.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Matt and... What was it? Matt and Jack?
No.
Buck?
No. So...
Mitch and... their names got changed.
Yes,
Matt's
they did.
name... I don't think Matt's name did.
No, they both did.
Oh, they both did? Okay.
They both did.
But yeah, they leaned into the internet fan reaction of them being, cocky, coming into an organization and thinking they're the best ever. You know who their first match was? I mean, well, of course you do because you've read their book, but it was the Motor City Machine Guns.
Yep.
Where they lost.
Okay, so...
And, Nick's slide through the rope moonsault.
Yep.
I didn't realize that's just been one of his things since he started.
Yeah. So, by the way...
yes.
And it was that matchup with the Motor City Machine Guns that saw something in them and basically helped make their careers.
Yes.
They constantly talked to them, constantly worked with them because they saw potential in them, which is awesome.
The Motor City Machine Guns. I absolutely, I've loved, because of TNA's work during that era.
Yeah.
Overall, their tag team work.
Yeah.
I was just like, you know what? I like flippy shit.
Yeah. Alex Shelley is constantly been, they talk about how Alex Shelley's called them and saying, hey, someone's coming your direction. Look out for him. They're a good guy.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, yeah, okay, Shelley's saying that, then we'll look out for him. Like, same thing with, when they met Okada in TNA. And how it got to the point where he's just like, call me if I'm being used, because he didn't want to show up anymore.
Exactly.
And then they kept...
I mean, do you blame him?
I didn't actually realize they were actually good friends that far back. I knew they clearly had become friends with him over in Japan.
So,
but that was a really cool nugget to learn about
how they truly met through TNA and all of that stuff. Well, one of the reasons that they obviously connected in any way was because both of them were just being used poorly.
Nope.
And
Well, that was partly, but the thing that
the thing
book-
that they really connected on was, but their
no.
paths-
What connected them and really helped them become good friends with Okada?
How? What was it?
They were using Okada, and he came to them because they would talk to him and work with him through the translator and everything. He came to him nervous because they wanted him to blade, and he was scared and he didn't want to do it.
Oh.
And they asked for help. He asked them to help him. So they went to Vince Russo and explained the situation, and they changed it so he didn't have to blade.
That's awesome.
And that was like one of the things that helped him really become. They were always kind of friends, like they were friends and they talked. But that was like one of those things that kind of like, oh, they really helped me out when I was scared, and that just kind of built things up.
But the banter and talk between them, most likely came out of the fact that all three of them were just kind of the outsiders in a locker room, and they were like, "Hey, buddy, what are you doing over here?"
So by the way, their names in TNA was Max and Jeremy Buck.
Max and Jeremy Buck.
And the way they said this when they got there,
because they were already known as the Young Bucks before this.
Which they hated that name, by the way.
What, the Young Bucks?
Yes. I can't remember the exact way how they got it. They were always going by different names, and something like Mr. Awesome. Like,
it would have been great if it was Cornette.
No, it wasn't. And I think it was in PWG or something like that is when it started. But they were like doing these other names, and when they got some bigger bigger recognition.
Yep.
Or someone would just put you guys have a bunch of Young Bucks, and then they started advertising them, and they're like, okay, they didn't really like it. The Young Bucks, like no, they didn't like it. So they're like, okay, well, that's what they know us here. We'll do it. But we'll be these guys elsewhere.
Oh yeah,
then
that's for Generation Meeg.
No.
Oh.
No, that was specifically TNA.
Oh yeah, but
that was only TNA.
Being Matt and Nick Jackson or whatever.
No, they were still Matt and Nick.
Okay.
For this, but they were their team name
team name.
They were being advertised as the Young Bucks. So they would do their other team name that they started with in their own promotion elsewhere. Then everyone started promoting them as the Young Bucks. Eventually, they just went with it. But the Max and Jeremy Buck came out of it because they didn't have a last name when they got started, because the fans would kept calling Young Bucks and not saying Generation Me. TNA finally said, we're
going to call them...
We'll just give you guys the Bucks as your last... Mac and Jeremy Buck. And they're like, really?
So you're not going to call us the Young Bucks, but you're... Okay.
Yeah.
Basically, I can see backstage, management just looking at each other and going, the audience is just calling them the Young Bucks. They know them as the Young Bucks. We're not using that name. Okay, so how do we make this... How do we spin this? How do we swerve this? As soon as someone mentioned swerve, Russo was just like, you have my attention.
Yeah. It was just like...
You had my interest, but now you have my attention.
It was just like, they were not like... The way they were told and how they had to dress.
Oh, yeah.
They hated it because they wanted to use their old gear. And eventually it got to the point where they hated it so much that they slowly started to introduce their Young Bucks gear into it.
The flare gear.
Out there. And eventually they were fully back to that. And no one ever said anything to them.
No, I remember like that first match. It's basically, tight jeans.
Yep.
Tight leg jeans.
Because basically they said
Skinny jeans, if you will.
They were a throwback to the Rockers, but a more modern version of that was what they were going for. They even brought Marty Jannetty into their home based promotion they did.
Yep.
And teamed with him. And he actually, after the matchup, gave him the blessing to be the next incarnation of the Rockers.
Yeah.
And even told him,
were the Rockers heels?
They were baby faces.
That's so weird that really the torch gets passed down from a face group to a heel group.
Nope. They were until they went to Japan.
Really?
Japan. They were baby faces on the indie scene. TNA had them be. They were using baby faces. Then turned heel.
Yes, they were.
Then broke them up, and then a month later brought them back together as a team with no explanation why.
Yeah, I know.
But it was until years later that they actually really become a heel team. They had to actually beg
in Japan.
They actually had to beg Pro Wrestling Guerrilla to make him a heel because he said, no, you're baby faces. And after a matchup, because they were just booing them and saying, because they were saying the same old shit, like you weren't involving, you're just doing everything you always were doing. And because they said they were probably booing us also because the thing that they liked about it was we were them, their thing. And now other people were having us and we're going elsewhere, so they didn't like that.
Yeah.
So they were picking on us. So when we started actually doing the Young Bucks style of, oh, you booed that? Okay,
We're gonna do it
again. I'm gonna do it again. And then like he walked back, and the guy who was who books PWG said, "Okay, boys, you're heels now." Yeah. I get it. I get it.
I love the fact that really they are the first true internet sensation because they lean into, oh yeah, no, a while ago the curtain got pulled back. We're gonna wink and nod and keep you guys in the know, while at the same time keeping kayfabe.
See, that's one of the best parts of their book, by the way, is learning how to use that. Because when you see it happening, it makes you think, like actually watching it on Twitter and everything, you think they're marketing geniuses.
Oh, you would think so.
But when you look and watch behind the scenes, like they had to learn all this stuff. They learned this from stuff from like, what's his name? Colt Cabana.
Yep.
Learning stuff like that when realizing how that. El Generico, not Sami Zayn.
El
Two
Generico.
different people.
Totally. They both have two different moves.
Yeah.
One's the haluva kick,
and one's
has a hell of a kick.
Two separate people.
Totally different things, too.
I wouldn't be surprised if one inspired the other a little bit.
I'm willing to bet Sami Zayn inspired El Generico.
Probably. But two different people.
Yeah.
But like
surprisingly, KO is friends with both of them.
Yeah, I know. Good friends with both of them.
Very close friends.
So they've learned from like El Generico on how to sell T-shirts and how to make money off of that.
Oh yeah,
and just seeing how they put the pieces together to get to where they are now. Jeez. It's actually like this is like amazing.
Like you look at it and you're like, statistically, they should have failed by now.
Yeah,
all of them. Like, honestly, AEW is just a big coincidence that it even happens. Because, honestly, Cody should not have truly succeeded in getting over with an audience as quickly as he did.
Because WWE deemed him that level.
Yep. And statistically, that never happens.
Yep.
Kenny Omega should not have been, if it was not for the internet... would not be as big of a star as he is today.
Not even necessarily that. It's more of just people who break out in Japan rarely ever break out anywhere else.
Yeah, like worldwide. Like, I understand if Meltzer had still given him 6 stars and all of that stuff.
Very few people who've had good runs, even when New Japan in those hot days and back and forth in the 90s and all that. Very few of them actually ever broke out anywhere else.
Yeah.
Partly because the Japanese didn't know how to take how they did wrestling and present it in a way American audiences could get it. That strong style, it took years for it to adapt to a point where not just New Japan figured out how to make it marketable to the rest of the world, but other people in the rest of the world, especially America, understood it.
It is weird that like American wrestling audiences love, like, when you really look at technical wrestling is where American audiences, the core of what they're the broad generalization of American audience is looking for. Grapple, the tie up.
No, I actually would completely disagree with you with that one.
I mean, also the theatrics. But
no, I would disagree with you on that one.
What would you say it would be?
The brawl, the spectacular brawl style. Now, again, because I'm looking through this.
Oh yeah, no, brawl would be favorite, but technical is what you see the most.
Yeah, you see that the most. It's becoming more prevalent in America because of the indies, and the WWE has allowed that to now come into their own product. But I'm still saying the spectacular overdramatic brawl is still the preferred and style of American wrestling because of WWE.
Oh yeah.
And that's why people enjoyed it. That's why the Attitude Era really broke out, because of that spectacular soap opera level brawl where you would have that storyline where basically in a storyline, this guy, he died, but he had a brain transplant and is in this body, which is impossible, but they're doing it anyway because it's soap opera. And yes, I just ripped off a storyline from Joey from Friends.
Okay.
Because they were making fun of soap operas on there, but still.
I mean, yeah.
Soap operas have the most ridiculous, most impossible plots sometimes for reasons and all that.
Yeah.
But that's what the Attitude Era was, and the spectacular brawl and sometimes bloody action, and that still holds true.
I'm talking from an in-ring.
I am talking the same thing too. It's becoming more popular, but it's still.
80s wrestling was all about the technical.
No, it wasn't really. It was about the flash of the character.
Well, no, it was. But your in-ring wrestling work was more technical and less stiff.
True.
Which is why when you had people like Vader come back over. There's a couple of other. There's. Vader's the biggest name that I can think of. Bam Bam Bigelow is another one. Mm-hmm. But Vader, when Vader brought like that his coming over was bringing New Japan style.
Yeah, I know. But
and it was too early for American audiences.
Well, true that
strong style even to today. Like honestly, you and I have watched plenty of matches now, and to this day, there are times where I look at something that hits, a dragon suplex, a German suplex, a pile driver, just a kick to the back of the head, and I'm just like, how are your necks able to constantly handle this?
I know.
And it's just, they teeter on like the millimeter, while American wrestling teeters on like the half foot.
Not even that, but also
American wrestling has generally been overly safe.
Well, not really. When you go back to the territory days, no, it wasn't.
Yeah, no, see, those days you could comparatively look at those matches and look at we'll say just a decade ago's New Japan matches, and they're not that far off.
But also
they're very stiff.
But also, I think the fact that New Japan also, as soon as the match is over, your young boys are out there and there's ice on you.
Yes.
That
you
also
don't have
helped.
to walk to the back before anything.
Yep, you're getting ice on your neck and your back or wherever you need it immediately. So I think that's part of it. But also going back to like the whole Young Bucks and all this. But it's funny to see how they've. Kenny's done the same thing as taking that old character, but fitting it in the new personality, the new situation.
We've got the Cleaner again.
Yeah.
We've got literally the Cleaner and the Good Brothers hanging out again, almost nearly doing their characters from New Japan.
Yep. By the way, since there's clearly no microphones in this office, we've said, I hope they bring back the Cleaner Girls. I'm just gonna say
for Double or Nothing.
No, I want the Cleaner Girls back. I mean,
okay.
You
just want them back.
I want them back. They're the ones who are supposed to be holding Kenny's gold, not Nakamura. I do like Nakazawa, not Nakazawa. But I do like the fact that he should hold one of them.
Oh yeah.
But then having him surrounded by like all these babes holding other belts would be super hilarious.
I do also like Kenny wearing all 3 belts on his chest.
Who hasn't done that before?
Like, I've always, that's one of the things that I've looked at and gone, okay, the 2 belts I understand. And then, of course, you start carrying the belts after that.
No.
You know what? Screw it. I got some more real estate up here. Let's get one more.
I've done that before with like cardboard belts I've made. I stacked like 3 of them on top of each other.
I can do this.
I can do it. Yeah, it looks ridiculous.
Oh,
but
absolutely ridiculous.
If it fits the character.
But if somebody, I know that's. Like, okay, as we were saying, it's statistically, AEW just should not have happened.
No.
Tony Khan should not have suddenly been in a position where his dad's like, you know what? Go ahead and start a wrestling company.
Yeah.
We've got extra money right now. Like,
Yeah.
it's just statistically,
Yeah.
this path that the Young Bucks have been on
Yep.
just should not have worked out for them.
No.
By now, they should have signed with WWE
Yeah.
and been, you know,
Ruined.
a middling mid-card tag team group.
Yeah, ruined by now. For all the success they had elsewhere else.
Oh, yeah.
Completely ruined because WWE.
It's WWE, but
yep.
they signed with them because that's where the money was.
Exactly.
Instead, they were like, no, we're doing the hard work.
Yeah, it's interesting, and that's another thing about their autobiography. When they get to that element, when they start getting those talks with Triple H, and then Matt Jackson runs across Tony Khan, and how everyone's telling him to just give up on him. You've always hear these stories in the wrestling: a new billionaire is going to jump into the wrestling market and all that. But everyone, like Matt said, no, I think you guys really need to talk to him. He knows what he's talking about when it comes to pro wrestling. And Kenny and like Nick were like, no.
No.
And then they finally met him and talked to him and like, oh
crap, he does know what he's doing.
Okay, but
He is a wrestling fan.
So this podcast went really weird. We went super long on the ratings.
Whatever.
It is what it is. We had one topic to talk about Miro, but we quickly
we're not even going to do that yet.
You
got to tune in later for it.
We decided to. We went off on this one just for a second, and then I'm like, we're on this.
Yeah.
It's going well. Let's just stick with it. And we somehow got into strong style versus American style in the past and current, and back to the Young Bucks. So, but we're coming this full circle, so we're gonna wrap this podcast up.
We're gonna end it right here.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap the podcast.
I don't want to end it right here. That's not how it's gonna work, man. He's not pining. He's passed on. This parrot is no more. He's ceased to be. He's expired and gone to meet his maker. He's stiff, bereft of life. He rests in peace. If you hadn't nailed him to the perch, he'd be pushing up the daisies. His metabolic processes are now history. He's off the twig. He's kicked the bucket. He's shuffled off this mortal coil, run down the curtain and joined the bleeding choir invisible. This is an ex-parrot.
Well, I better